am the owner of the Property and Casualty Division of Stonebridge Insurance and Wealth Management here in Kearney. But like Lisa said, I'm here today because a little over 2 years ago, as being part of BNI, it's really a great resource for business owners. But at one point we had a social where we weren't really talking about the normal stuff, we were just talking about our business. We were talking about employment, we were talking about all the things that go into being a business owner, and it was a lot of fun. And I thought, I think people could get a lot out of this. And so just on a whim, started sitting down and just talking with small business owners, not just in Kearney, but across the state. And so it has been going on, like I said, for a little over 2 years now. If you want to check it out, it's the Good Life Small Business Podcast. You can find it pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. You can find us on social media, YouTube, things like that. But today, I have 5 businesses that have been former guests on the podcast. And so I wanted to bring them up here and just kind of talk about, there's questions that I've asked all of them for the podcast, but I've got some different questions that I want to talk to them about to just kind of get the pulse of where they're at right now with kind of how things are in the economy and what they'll be looking forward to in the next year. So I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. If you guys just want to introduce yourselves, your business, and how long you've been in business.
My name is Brian Baer. We own Baer Studios, a portrait photography business here in Kearney, and been in business for 27 years. And we're the only couple, I guess we're a couple, and then everyone else is a solo, but this is my wife, Jess.
Hello, and I've been here in Kearney for about 4.5 years now with Brian. I came from Omaha with my own photography studio, and we've joined forces now, and loving working together.
Hi, good morning. I'm RaChell Merklin, and I have Smallcakes of Kearney and Smallcakes of Omaha in Pavilion, and I've been in business total in Omaha for 8 years, in Kearney in 7.
I'm Brett Mayo, Sweetwater Hemp Company. I'm the Chief Marketing and Extraction Officer there. We opened January of last year. So yeah, we're pretty new, but I grew up in Gibbon, went to school at UNLV and graduated from there and moved back because this is where we want to be with our families. So.
Hey, I'm Richard Barajas, and I own Kearney Combat Sports. That's it.
I'm Michael Frietag. I'm the owner and brewer of Upper Room Brewery here in Kearney. We've been open for almost 2 years coming up this January. I'm also a former graduate of Dome, so go Tigers. Yeah.
Okay, Michael, if you just want to hold on to the mic, we'll start with you. So, talking about your businesses, what is something that each of you is looking forward to, or opportunities that are coming up with your business here in the next months or year?
I think for us, it'd be obviously brewing beer, and just being able to share that with friends, community, family. I think we've been just talking about trying to get like a small type of canner so we could have some cans more available to people, whether that's in our actual tap room or maybe some retail spots as well, just to help push our product out there. I'd say also just, the festivals, it's kind of getting to a lull now in festival time, but I know coming up early next year there's a few festivals that we're looking forward to being at. That's just always a fun time as a brewer to rub elbows with other producers in the state, as well as getting a chance to talk with our customers and fans.
What was the question?
What is, with the coming months or year, what is something that you're looking forward to with your business?
Well, I work in the martial arts industry or fitness industry, so the new year is usually a good year, or a good time of the year for growth. So January, hoping to grow and expand. But right now, we have fights coming up. My passion is to coach fighters and to compete and to do that, so I guess to promote that, we have fights next week in North Platte. So we have two guys fighting on that card in North Platte. That's kind of what my, I'd say definitely my passion, my main goal is. I'm running the business, but I'm only running the business so I can coach fighters. So the New Year's coming up, all that's great, and then we have fights coming up here in a week in North Platte, November 11th. So kind of what
Cool. Brett?
Yeah, we have a lot of different projects that are coming up. On top of doing the CBD, we also do manufacturing on other products as well. We actually are trying to use our equipment for different things. We've actually extracted hops, which might be kind of interesting to use. So, but yeah, we got different projects. We do projects with a lady out of California. We're also working at doing maybe a joint venture with the guy out of Texas. So, lots of products, new projects happening all the time.
Well, we were at the mall for 6 years, and so we just moved about a year ago, centrally located in Kearney, right off of 2nd Avenue. So we have 3 times the size of what we had at the mall, so we're able to expand. We've started doing to-go cakes, which is really nice. You can come in and actually get a cake, other than just special ordering. We do cupcakes, we do cake pops, we do anything really that has to do anything with cakes. But this year, we're going to start expanding into cookies. So we're going to do gourmet cookies. We do gourmet cupcakes, so why not do gourmet cookies?
So I guess being the business that's been around the longest at this table, we've kind of passed our growth phase and began diversifying into different segments of a business. We have some parts of our business, the average transaction is thousands of dollars. We have some parts of our business where the average transaction is $20 or $30. The next few months we're gearing up for Santa at the mall. So that is always a fun time, but being an entrepreneur, you are just like, I gotta be the one in there. I'm the control freak that wants to make sure everything is just the way I want it to be. For me, the challenge and the exciting thing for the next few months is we've hired a team of people, everybody from Santa Claus to the elves to photographers to our sales people that are going to be handling the process. So I kind of feel like I've set up a franchise system, I'm going to train my staff, and then I'm going to step back. That's going to be the hardest part, is stepping back from the business and not being in there going 120 miles an hour with my hair on fire, because that's what I love to do. So that's going to be the exciting thing in the next few months for us.
We'll see how that goes. So being an entrepreneur, small business owner, a lot of days are great because you're doing what you love. But there's some days that aren't great, no matter what you do. And so if you could just tell the crowd, we've talked about what you're looking forward to, but what's one of the biggest challenges for you right now?
Okay, so as Brian has mentioned, we've been in business for 27 years, and we're known for families, high school seniors, business children, more like portrait. We're a full service portrait studio here in town. And our biggest challenge right now is we're learning how to diversify our brand into that volume part of photography, where creating relationships with schools, specifically like superintendents and ADs, they've got really good gatekeepers. We're wanting to break into the volume because that's just kind of a nice fallback for us with the business, because we're very seasonal here in Nebraska. We're not nice all year round with outdoors, so we have to be able to pivot. So relationships are a big part of our business, and creating those relationships with those people, it's the tricky part for us, because we'd love to be able to get into more volume that fits our schedule. Like, we don't want to get a ton of it, but we want to find those right schools and organizations that fit best for our schedule, because we've worked really hard to create a schedule that we enjoy. And with that said, being more of a mature business and being entrepreneurs, we love the growth part of it, because there's a lot of excitement with the hustle and creating something new and meeting new people. Like, that's just something that we love to do. So with learning to diversify, we're still getting that hustle and growth feel with learning to do new things and add new people to our work.
I would say for our industry, one of the hardest things is, especially this last year, 2 years, has been finding enough help in order to stay open and produce what we need to produce. We have the customer base, it's having the right amount of employees. And so I can say right now we are finally fully staffed and trained and life is smooth. But it wasn't always that way this last year. And so we just getting people in there and getting them trained so we can give good customer service. Another thing as far as like everyday type of thing is just trying to, when we're taking cake orders per se, trying to get what one person is thinking into what we're trying to get from that to do their cake exactly the way they want it. And sometimes you can't always please your customer. You need to always try to please your customer because customers are first, they're always right no matter what. But I'd say that's our hardest.
I would say our most difficult thing is just educating people on what we do and make sure it's all legal. We get people from all different types of life, from college kids all the way up through 9-year-old people looking for pain relief or anything like that, and just educating them on what we do. Everything we do is fully legal. We do everything we're supposed to do above and beyond that. And then finding help is very, very hard. We work really hard at that, trying to find the right people to work with, especially when working out of state and stuff like that, just finding the right people to work with to help you build your brand. But educating people definitely is a day-to-day thing. We wear lots of hats because there's not very many employees at our company. But I feel like I educate, do tours, do things like this just to educate people and let them know that we're out there. And we do something different than nobody else in the country does. So just getting people out, educating them, and teaching them about CBD and everything it can do for their bodies. So.
Yeah, I guess the common theme is just learning to discern on which employees to hire or which people to trust with your vision, with your business. So that's probably the hardest thing right now for me is to discern which coaches to trust with my baby, to hand it off and trust that their vision is in line with my vision and their passion is in line with my passion. I think probably the area I'm struggling with is maybe trusting the wrong people. Not necessarily that they're malicious, but they don't have that same passion or desire, and things just don't click or mesh well. So this past year, I think that's been the biggest thing, just trying to be more discerning on who to trust and how to navigate through that. Definitely been an obstacle. So.
Yeah, I'd say for us, it's driving traffic into our tap room. We feel like we've thrown everything but the kitchen sink just to see what would stick as far as events or social media advertisements and stuff of that nature, just to get people in the door. It started off with a bang when we first opened, and was great, but we just gotta continually push events and new beer and stuff to get people through the door, which can be fun at one hand, trying different things, but on the other hand, you just get tired of trying new things to get people to come in. We were small tap room, north part of town. We strategically placed it there because the research that we had done, most of the growth in Kearney was headed to the northwest. So I'd say in about 5-10 years we will be greatly positioned, but how do we make it that long to benefit from that? It's kind of where we're having to brainstorm at this point.
Great answers. Yeah. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, there's going to be challenges. And you know, to Richard's point too, when it comes to employees, one of the things that someone told me once is no one will ever love it as much as you do. And that's kind of a hard fact to take in, that no one will have the passion that I do for this thing, but I've got to trust them to help me grow it. So there's difficulty there, but I think too, one of the things that I've learned is that being able to help people along and help them find their passion and help them find something that they're really good at is really rewarding when you can find that person. And so it's a delicate balance. So one question I want to make sure that we ask, because I think it's different for everyone, but how do you measure success?
I'd say right now for me, being successful is being able to pay my bills and my staff. And if there's a little bit left at the end of the month to add to my banking account, then great. And so that would be one aspect, but then just also success being, you know, having people come in and enjoy your beer, your product, and get those regulars that keep coming back as well.
Yeah, that's a tough question. Success usually means dollar bills. So I would say if I'm making a lot of money, then that's pretty successful. But lately, I think what I'm realizing is that money's gonna come and go, but really building that community around me, people I'm impacting or they're impacting me, and kind of like I'm impacting a lot of kids because I coach kids, and just seeing their growth throughout the years has been really rewarding. But also, the older people I'm around take me under their wing and kind of just teach me about life. So I think the community has probably been the most successful thing I've been able to build, probably. So.
Yeah, kind of like he was. I mean, we're really new. We kind of go month by month. You know, we want to build our brand, also build, you know, our networking and see, you know, who we can work with to keep building our brand, our retail brand, and then our business as far as developing new products for people. We also co-package a lot of stuff too. So helping people reach their goals is also something we really like to do. So we've done everything from helping create recipes for things and doing stuff like that. So not only helping us be successful, but helping other people be successful is very, very important to us.
Yeah, definitely. If I was in it for the money, I would have been out of it a long time ago. I'm lucky enough to have a husband who is retired military and all that, but success to me is just working with customers and having those return customers, hearing how happy people are with our product, and not even just customers, but it's your employees going to work, knowing that they are happy and having a good work environment. All of that to me is success.
You know, when we saw this question, we were thinking, like, do we answer this in like dollar amounts, or is this like work life, real, like what fills your bucket? And all of us as entrepreneurs are like, you said it right, Richard, like it's community, and when you start helping people and impacting it, and we're both going to answer this, but for me it's that we get to work together. We're a husband-wife team, and some people are like, oh, how do you do that with your husband 24 hours? It's great. I get to be with him all the time, which is awesome. And we get to run a business, for our business hours, and then we shut it off when we're done, and we get to be a husband and wife and a mom and dad, which is really important to us. And everything is transparent. We bounce ideas off each other all the time. And a big thing for me this year is we have a 7th grader, and she's starting to get really involved in school, and we haven't missed a thing. We got to go to everything because we have systems in place and people in place that help us and support us. So I feel like being successful is having those employees that believe in what you do and are there to support you, and they are basically part of your family. And it's also nice being able to go to sleep at the end of the day and not stress and ruminate about things about the business because it's working. So that's what success is for me.
I would just point to the stress in my life, or as a measure of success. Am I waking up with stress? Am I going to bed with stress? And if I'm not, then that to me is a successful moment right there, and I'm not stressed out. Also, I feel like having time to be well-rounded. As entrepreneurs, we're like, you mean I have to work 128 hours a week? Okay, I'm down for that. We've all been there. We have passion in the beginning, but in hindsight, you can realize you did that at the expense of other parts of your life or your family. So to be able to reel that in quickly is, I guess, my advice to anybody in the room, because we all want to go all in every day. And have some time for yourself to do things that don't necessarily affect your business. I make it a goal to travel and take at least one trip a year and have a little side passion project that has nothing to do. And that's my reward for myself when I accomplish something within the business.
Yeah, so you can see a broad range. I mean, it's a matter of new businesses doing everything they can to get people in the door, to keep the doors open, building community, to businesses that have been around a while and kind of, finding the next step. That's the fun part about being an entrepreneur, is there's always something new. It doesn't matter what stage you're in, there's always a new challenge, and you're always trying to figure that out. So, last question. We've got a couple months left of 2022, but now is also a good time to kind of look forward to the next year, what goals you want to have, what you want to achieve. So, for everyone here, what advice would you give to the audience? Tricks that you use, what you've done in the past about goal setting for the next year, and just, moving forward.
Okay, this is my happy place. I'm a planner. I love to set goals. Brian is our visionary. I am the one that helps him execute them. We write down notes. So, first thing, when you're setting goals, set them to be attainable. Some people have these really big, lofty goals, and if you don't reach them, you feel defeated, and then you're done, and you move on to the next thing. If you can set smaller goals that are attainable throughout the year, super important. So I always buy a planner, and I lay it out, and I spend about a week or two, and we plan out our entire year. All of our marketing, all of our promotions, what time of year social media is gonna run, and I batch work. So it's really important to get into some sort of a habit like that, because as entrepreneurs, we're squirreling all over the place, thinking of new ideas. But to have them written down, have a calendar, makes such a difference. Because I heard somewhere one time, hope is not a strategy, you have to plan for your success.
I'm just gonna agree with you, because that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, just what she said, make short-term goals that are attainable. Also, don't get stressed if you don't meet your goal. Just work harder to attain that goal. In our business, it's changing constantly all the time. All the people making the products that we make are smarter and faster at working than the people writing the laws for the products. So you really have to learn on the fly, know what you're gonna do as the end goal, and then just do whatever you can to reach that goal. But don't get frustrated if there's bumps on the way.
Goal setting, not my forte, so take notes on that one. But I will say I'm more visionary, so I kind of visualize what I want to see in the next 5 years, 10 years, and I kind of try to do what I can to take small steps every day to fulfill that vision. That's kind of what I try to do. I don't know if it's working, but I'll be working on the goal setting.
Yeah, I think what everyone said so far has been spot on. I think the only thing I would add is maybe leaving space for things to change. Maybe put it in pencil or at least erasable ink. Definitely try and reach those goals, but realize that you may need to pivot or change a few things to either make that particular goal happen, or maybe down the road you realize that's really not the best goal I should have at this point, and we need to pivot this way. So just leaving grace and space to do so.
Let's give these guys a hand. Thank you guys for coming in, taking time out of your day to share a little bit. Thank you to everyone out here. Very gracious. If you want to know more about the podcast, I'll be hanging out. But a selfish plug for myself. If you would be interested in sitting down for an interview on the podcast, or you know of someone that would be a good interview, let me know. That's kind of the hard part for me, is to get a warm lead for someone that may be interested in sitting down just to do an interview. So if you know of anyone, Lisa's got my contact info. Again, you can find me on social media, all that good stuff. So,
Brian, do we have time? We have a few minutes. Do we have any questions for the panel
Oh, yeah.
and the audience?
Any questions?
I have one.
Okay.
So if you guys could tell us, because a lot of us are entrepreneurship service organizations or educators, if you can tell us resources that were helpful to you as you get started, or maybe resources that you're still looking for in any of the, like as service support or educators or anything like that, that would be awesome. Maybe some tools that you used as you got started.
Everybody hear that? Okay.
I'd say for us, the biggest resource was the Nebraska Enterprise Fund, just because, one, we are a small, very small startup and just didn't have a lot of cash behind us. So going to a bank wasn't really an option for us for a loan, but the Nebraska Enterprise Fund stepped up and gave us the loan that we needed to get started, and were very helpful in providing other resources as far as business running and entrepreneurship tips as well. So I would highly recommend them.
I haven't received any help, so I'll be meeting with you, I guess.
We've had interns from UNK. If you guys have anybody who likes what we're doing and is interested in working, we're really flexible scheduling, and we like working with young people. I worked at the university as the women's golf coach for 5 years, and I've worked through an internship program at the PGM program. So getting people like that are excited and they're willing to learn, and they're like sponges is really beneficial to us. So hopefully we find future employees after that that love and want to be around us. So.
Being a bakery, when I went in it, I had done real estate for years, so I baked at home, but really didn't have any kind of commercial experience whatsoever. So I went to anybody else that I knew that was commercial bakery, other small cakes, and then just other, I had a couple ladies who were not commercial bakers, but they had done a lot of baking outside of their home for people. And I picked their brain. Just don't be afraid to ask for help, because that was the key to my success.
We're gonna split this one. We're both a part, as well as Brian Blakely, we're a part of BNI. It's a Business Networking International. And if anybody's ever heard of it, we meet once a week, and it's very organized and to the point. And I joined a BNI group in Omaha when I first started my business, because starting a photography studio in Omaha can be tricky. And so someone had invited me to this group, and it's a bunch of business owners and professionals, and you give a 60-second commercial every week, and we're all building relationships with each other. So a lot of my business, when I started, obviously came from friends and family that I knew, but then I got into this whole circle of business professionals that had other circles and networks that let me be a part of that. And so that really helped me grow as a business, and to learn to meet other business professionals in the community that were all completely different. So don't be afraid to join some sort of networking groups to meet other like-minded professionals. So BNI has been really helpful for us.
When I first started, I found our state association of photographers, and whatever industry you're in, there's likely an association for that specific. There's a national group, but for me, that's where I dove in and got a lot of my education. But I think, especially to people that are new and are students in the group, you will always be learning. If you decide you know everything, you're done. You need to always be learning. So I'm constantly reading books. I usually read about 12 to 15 nonfiction books a year. I'm always listening to podcasts. And something that is available if you're here, actually available to anyone, but we're in Nebraska. I bought 1 share of Berkshire Hathaway B stock, not the A stock. So I parked $150, and I get to go listen to Warren Buffett once a year. If you haven't done it, it's amazing, and it's something that gets me excited every year to always be learning about something, and have a visionary like that you can drive 3 hours down the interstate and sit in a room with, and it's really priceless. So anybody, you should be there too.
Very cool. Any other questions? Yeah.
To anyone on the panel, who would you think back on or currently is a primary mentor that really drove you or is currently providing you with mentorship?
Brian Baer.
And why?
Well, we've known each other since 1999 because I joined the state association a few years after he did, and he was one of those people in the association that was making it work as a big studio. You know, a lot of us worked out of our homes. We were the only person working on there, which a lot of us entrepreneurs are. But he was making his studio work, and he had really great marketing ideas. So a lot of us always went to him for ideas because it is very true. Always be learning. Look outside your industry to learn. So this is a great space to be for us because we're always going to photography conferences. So it's nice to be here to hear from other professionals of what they're doing and how we can mold it into here. So not to sound corny, but he has always been somebody that I was a go-to to get like bounce marketing and ideas off when I was starting.
I would say I have 2 employees in my Papillion shop, and one is managing it, the other one is my head or lead cake decorator. They are phenomenal. When I hired them, being 3 hours away, worried about my business, someone caring about my business to take care of it when I can't be there. I've had them now for almost 4 years, I believe, and they didn't know each other when I hired them both, and they they are the reason that our shop has succeeded and done very well in Papillion. And I just, they don't have to be there, they don't have to work, they do it because they love it. And they are just a wealth of knowledge to me, so I give them credit for it.
I was trying to come up with somebody in particular, but wearing a lot of different hats and doing a lot of different things, you have to have mentors that are kind of specific into whatever you need help in that day. So if it's from training or doing advertising or whatever, just going and doing these things, and then just figuring out somebody that you jive with and somebody that you can go talk to in each facet of your business is kind of what I'd recommend as far as buying a mentor. So not having one, but having multiple helps more than anything.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I don't think I've really had too many mentors. Trying to figure out business, so yeah, I'll send it off.
I'd say for me, in the recent past, it would be Trevor Chapin from Thunderhead Brewing. I don't think we'd be open right now without his help, and he's really just been a phone call or a text away if I've had a brewing question or a fermentation issue or something like that. He's been quick to respond and just been able to bounce ideas, whether it's the business side of brewing or just the actual process of brewing as well.
Okay. I think that's it. We'll let you guys get a break for your breakout session. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.